With Minecraft Legends on the horizon, a Minecraft game which I can bet will have no mining nor crafting in it, I figure now is a better time than any to have a look at Minecraft's most recent attempt at a spin-off. And by recent, I mean 2 years old. Minecraft Dungeons was released on the 26th of May 2020, in the midst of a time where a global pandemic was caused by infectious cringe, and was in fact the first Chicane Mason video I had ever made. And just as I had predicted, I think people might have forgotten this game existed, as aside from the occasional LEGO sets, I have not seen anyone really discuss the game since its first month of release. So I figured I should see, how does Minecraft Dungeons hold up 2 years later? Before I even started the main game, I was enthralled to learn that you can indeed mod it, and being the self-centered imbecile that I am, I modded my own Minecraft skin into it. I started on the default mode because new character and all that rubbish, right? And then was thrust into Squid Coast to play through the game's tutorial, of which I used an Xbox controller for, which already eliminates the gripes I had with the game previously, but hey, at least it's far more compatible now. Generally, the game uses its old dungeon crawling mechanic of a top-down display and slaying monsters, with some honestly banger cinematics thrown in the mix for good measure. On PC, you just click everywhere, and on Xbox, you can move around in the manner you usually expect, but quite frankly, I'd have preferred the game's PC controls to be good old WASD, but I mean, I digress. To get stuff in Minecraft Dungeons, you just slay everything and loot everything, which gives you emeralds, weapons and armor. But due to the maps being randomly generated, excluding boss rooms and other event rooms, you can't memorize where this loot would be, unless the loot is in the aforementioned event rooms, which means lads who are higher up on the food chain of skill than I am still won't get every bit of blooming loot around. Not like that was an issue either, as the majority of loot is exclusive to the player, aside from potions and the supplies from supply chests. So, after completing Squid Coast, you get rewarded with a central hub area, where you are stuck with the wandering trader and the blacksmith, but you can find other villagers throughout the levels to give you funky stuff, such as the ability to give items to other players, which means, can you believe it, the game has updated to solve the exact issue that was my primary criticism of it back when it was first released. Yes, you have to go through these levels and find a hidden villager to do so, but it's a lot better than it was on release because you can actually give other people other items! You want to know how else you can tell it was updated? Well, the DLCs were a given, even back in the lockdown of cringe, but the fact it has seasons is a very obvious tell of the game's updated manner. The seasons are just like new gear and skins and victory celebrations. As far as the actual gameplay is concerned, it's remained the same. I think the variety of items is larger, I think, but honestly, I really have no clue. Speaking of variety, my previous issue with the game getting repetitive still stands, but they've at least tried to combat it with this tower game mode, and the secret levels are still around, but it gives an incentive to play the game beyond default difficulty. The power system and leveling systems are also the same. Its soul harvesting mechanic has not changed in the slightest, so as far as gameplay was concerned, it had retained its original game mechanics, of which I picked up very easily after my initial fumbles. Unlike my initial video, however, I would be playing the entire game with my companion Josh, who was thankfully there to save me from embarrassment the absurd amount of times I got downed. I'd like to use this bit here to correct an error I made in my previous video, where I said that the amount of monsters gets increased with the amount of players there are. While I have no official confirmation if that's the case or not, I'm pretty certain the amount of monsters is based off of your team's party level. Don't quote me on that though, I have absolutely no idea. However, there was extra stuff in each level aside from the secret levels. That's right, even without the DLC, you can find these end island areas. And with these odd purple blocks that definitely should be added into Minecraft. I mean, the sinking mechanic already exists with the powdered snow, just retexture it purple and make it look a little bit like Skulk, and there you go, you've got a new Minecraft block! And after tackling a boss battle with a buffed up Enderman, you get rewarded with an Eye of Ender, which I can only assume is for the End Island DLC. Speaking of boss battles, it might have been because I had Josh with me, or because my gaming abilities have improved to an incomprehensible scale since I last played, but the boss battles did in fact feel a lot easier than they should have been. I mean, with the final level, the big bad arch-illager, it got destroyed within a matter of minutes. But earlier in exactly the same level, we had to battle it out with some redstone golems, which we struggled with quite a bit! Another massive plus of the game is how the music goes hard! Like, the soundtrack for this game is so good, and truly captures the essence of the vibe they were going for in every aspect of it. And the music would not have made this as much of an enjoyable experience as it would have been without it. Which leads me to the conclusion that my opinion on the game, is still the same. Minecraft Dungeons holds up 2 years later. It's a cracking good game. It's a shame how Minecraft spin-offs have this air of cynicism with them, because with every miss, there always seems to be a hit. And despite what you think of Mojang at the moment, considering their chat updates and its more DLC and season focuses on dungeons, you can still play the game just as well and have just as much fun without any of the paid features. Minecraft Dungeons, I'd argue, is definitely one of Mojang's hits. And with Minecraft Legends on the horizon, all I can do is hope Mojang have their bow and arrow notched and aimed straight at the bullseye.